welcome to a new episode. Okay, in today's episode I'm going to be talking to you about how to find a club, how to find a team to coach. And like I always said, it all depends on sort of who you are, who your contacts are, if you've played for if you've played for a team, all these things. So I'm going to sort of talk from point of view that you have come from a different industry, or like I said, you're a younger sort of student and you don't have them contacts and you're starting from scratch. But firstly, if you do have them contacts, don't be shy to use them. And I would always say call first. If they don't answer, text message. Try and stay away from emails if you've got the other lines of contact first, if you've got a telephone number, for instance. But if you have to, don't be afraid to go to email, but just understand that people, especially if they don't know you or there's the possibility that they don't remember you, sort of reaching out to them via email is a tricky one. Although I've had success and I've also had a lot of non-success through emails. So yeah, with this there isn't a right way, there's not a wrong way, but here is sort of what I would do if I was in your shoes. So if you are in the university or a college, speak to tutors, professors, anybody that you can, even if they're not directly your actual tutor, because normally if it's a university, for instance, they'll have sports departments, so make sure you go in there and speak to them. You don't know who might know somebody. If you're not university, say that you're coming from full-time work, one thing I would do, depending on what level you want to go into, or what interests you, that's going to play into this. So for instance, if you want to try and get yourself into an academy, like a championship or League 1, League 2 team. Okay, how to get into a club. Okay, so you got use contacts that you already have. Don't be afraid to use them. Email, kind of a last resort really. Text message and phone call. Phone call being the main one if you can do it. Next is actually going to the place, wherever it may be. If it's like a sort of semi-professional team, just turn up at the training. And try and speak to coach or owner or assistant coach. In my experience, at the sort of lower levels, you get a lot more access and they're a bit more open to helpers, certainly volunteers. Academy can be trickier depending on the level, but a good way to speak to somebody on that is to actually go to the youth team in the day. They normally train in the day, and again, you can normally speak to one of the coaching staff, and they're normally pretty open. I would say take with you a CV or resume, that brief 1 page, that just shows your experience. Don't be afraid if you don't have any experience, because at least then they can actually give you some feedback on what you need to do. So that's a good way, the youth team. And then also in the evenings, if you can find out when the younger players are training, there'd be quite a few coaches knocking about, and the scouts are quite open to talking, and they'll give you a bit more information. What I would say, don't take it personally if you do turn up and coaches can be a little bit short. Like often they're busy or they're in a rush. Don't take that too personally. So they're all good ways. They're all ways that I've used in the past. Yeah, don't be afraid of rejection. Don't give up, and don't take the feedback too personally. Make sure as well when you're turning up to these, it's important that you're sort of dressed appropriately. Like I said, it's normally a sort of tracksuit culture, so you're okay in a tracksuit, but just try and look smart, have normalish hair, and just fit in. They're more likely to speak to you, that's all. And lastly, if you're struggling to get into like an amateur club, failing to get into an academy, and sort of had a loss with it, don't be afraid to have a look at sort of Saturday morning clubs. There's normally quite a few of them knocking about, and a lot of them do for charity as well. So they're normally looking, and they'll help you as well through the process. I worked for one back in England, and they helped me. I think it was through my UEFA B license. I was working like a Saturday morning doing a few sessions, and then you were done by lunch, and then go and watch some games in the evening, or I think I might have even played a little bit then as well. So yeah, there's multiple ways, and again, it'll work differently if you're in England to Italy, Germany, and America. But the process is the same. You need to try a few different avenues. Lastly, another one, watching coaching sessions. So actually watching the club, or like, give you an American example. If it's a college team, going to watch the training. They're almost all open training sessions, and you can turn up and watch, and coach will normally talk to you, and again, you don't know who's walking about that you can talk to, and just expand that network of people. So yeah, they're my tips on how to break into a club.